You're looking for the pulse of Tampa Bay sports. Beckles and Recher is the #1 source. The new guard, raising up the bar. Intelligent sports talk in your own backyard. Ain't no competition, ask the fans why. Beckles and Recher got it by a landslide. Don't fret, microphone check, stand by. Yo, Fox, where they at? Who my two favorite guys?
Here they go.
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 Here they go. Here they go.
Here they go.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. And that theme song still slaps, though.
Every day. Every time.
After all those years.
All the times.
Yeah, man. How you feeling, brother? Everything good with you?
I'm good, man. You got some glisten on you right now.
Well, what's glistening?
Puerto Rican glisten.
Glisten?
Glistening.
What kind of glisten that mean?
The island. You got that island vibe.
No, it's more of a tired vibe.
Because he's an island boy.
Oh, no.
You saw the Island Boys on them?
No, man.
Trying to
How are they island boys, though? I mean, they're from Nebraska, aren't they?
Cornhuskers.
Where are they from, though?
I have no idea.
I never understood them. I really understand them.
I still don't. Sometimes you learn the vibe over times. Never got it.
I never understood that one.
Never got it.
They have no talent whatsoever, and they're talented
They
for
kiss
kissing each other in their mouth.
No thanks.
No funny thing though. I think I was at the. It might have
They
been.
were at the pole fight, right? In Emily, and they got booed. I heard.
But
you were there, right?
okay, no, I was gonna bring that, but
Okay.
they caused a ruckus though. They got booed, but they caused such a reaction that I was like, those guys are popular. They kind of are in a weird way.
You know, I think there's a thing to be said of like any publicity is good publicity, but not that.
Well,
I think there's certain times you look at because it's one thing if it leads to something. What does it lead to?
they're oddly relevant, and so I don't know what they're relevant. What are they relevant for?
The only two people that have brought them up in the last year is you and me.
That's not true. They're on Entertainment Tonight every other week. I see them all the
I didn't
time.
even know that show was still on.
You know what's funny? Neither do I. I had no idea that show was
There's a
still
lot
on.
of shows that be like, is this Sean? Be like, Good Morning America.
It's a great song back in the day.
It's very catchy. So how was your trip to PR?
It was fun. It was
Fishing?
fun. We went fishing.
Did a great job.
We had some. We caught some baby tarpon.
Baby tart.
Yeah, I mean they're 20-pound tarpon, but those are baby tarpon. You can catch tarpon in Tampa Bay.
Not babies.
They're usually 100 and something pounds. You know, we're just catching them from 5 feet. It was actually a lot of fun. I'm a fisherman, and I've never caught tarpon like that, and it was good atmosphere. Puerto Rico's cool. I don't think I need to go back.
I was gonna say because
Yeah.
you're always one of those guys. Will I go back?
Well, that's the question. I think you need to go once. I'll be honest with you. I think it's somewhere you can bring your girl.
Okay.
If you're gonna bring your girl, that's somewhere you can bring her. I don't need to go back because it's might as well be America. We live in Tampa, and when you're looking
Not
out
different.
at the
Not much
water,
different.
it's just everything. Can I tell you what the price is? It's everything exactly the same.
Yeah. So, what are you getting?
Colombia, 1/5 of the price. 1/5. I'm just telling you. Puerto Rico is exactly like Tampa. Colombia is 1/5, and that's not somewhere to bring your girl.
No.
Colombia is somewhere to go with the fellas.
You're not bringing the sand to the beach.
No, absolutely,
in Colombia.
absolutely not. Yeah, Puerto Rico had a different vibe to it. It had an American vibe.
How long
to
was
it.
the trip?
We was there for 4 or 5 days, and it was a good feel. It's good to get away, good to see some different people, and I'm glad.
Did you know anybody there? You just went with some guys from here.
I went with a couple of guys, Sylvester Senior and Junior, guys that hang out at the Dignitary Cafe, and they had been there before, and we had a good time. We were just chilling. A lot of food, bro. I ate so much food. Oh my god.
How are the nudist resorts and
The nudist resorts?
all male colonies?
Yeah, you know, I don't like to
Don't brag.
talk about my folks.
Don't show and tell.
You know, nah, it's not my.
No show and tell.
Nah, no pictures
What
either.
surprised you about the trip? Anything surprising?
How big the asses of the Puerto Rican girls are.
Really?
There's so many fake asses in Puerto Rico.
Oh, okay.
That's their thing, bro. But I mean a lot, though.
A
I mean
lot?
a lot. Like I went to the Puerto Rican strip club.
You did?
Yeah, we went to the strip club.
I'm not surprised.
Yikes. If you don't,
Bad?
no, not bad, but
I don't understand.
if you don't have a fake butt, you ain't going to the strip club in Puerto Rico. I mean, there you have to have a big old fake butt.
Jeez.
And I mean substantial.
And then the women?
I don't speak that language,
No.
so
Lies.
I really.
Lies.
That's the one thing is you go to Colombia or you go to Puerto Rico and you go to a club, with a bunch of pretty girls that don't speak the language, how are you gonna communicate other than with money? There you go. So really, you asked me how the girls are. It's like I ain't really trying to talk to them. I wasn't talking to no girls over there, man.
They came over there?
Well, Colombia.
Shoulder rubs?
Colombia, the girls come up to you now.
Oh.
Now, Puerto Rico, it's different. It's like it could be America. You got to go there and flaunt the money and all that stuff like that.
I don't want to do that.
Colombia, you got 55 cents in your pocket. You good.
You're rich man.
You're a rich man. You're a rich man.
That's good. Glad you had a good time.
So what happened here in the United States of America while I've been gone? Anything good?
I know, man.
And nothing good?
I went to Orlando, so I'm in a different world.
Oh, that's a yucky place.
I was in Kissimmee, so we didn't go all the way through.
Well, you know what's funny? Kissimmee is almost acceptable because I know there's good fishing there. There's really, really good fishing there.
Went with the fam. We didn't really leave the resort. Played golf twice, which was good, with my dad and my brother.
Really don't like Orlando.
But we didn't get into Orlando. Kissimmee's great because you could see Orlando. It's so close, but then you could still see it.
Yeah.
And then you can turn around and go back to
it.
It only took me an hour and 5 minutes to get here today, which is not bad.
No, that's not bad.
Hour 5?
Yeah, once you start to see signs for Orlando, I start to get funny.
You just start.
Because I'm like, well, any second you're going to stop dead. So you see Orlando, before you say no.
I saw more signs for Tampa than Orlando, which was good. I was facing in the right direction.
But what you see signs for Orlando, then next year you hit your brakes, and then you're dead for an hour and a half.
Start seeing Mickey ears.
When you see Mickey ears? No, you've been stopped, though.
So it was good. Spending time with the fam, turning the big 4-0, which was good.
It was your birthday?
Sunday.
Okay, happy birthday. You know I'm not good with that stuff.
No, you're not.
I'm really not.
I'm not offended.
I have no idea if it was November or now. But you know what? Happy birthday. I said it again.
Man. The big 4-0.
That's good. 4-0, it's a big one too, man. For real. People say, hey, the big 3-3. Not so big.
The big 4-0.
Big 4-0. 4-0 is legitimate.
Just hung with the fam, man. We kept it low key. Went to the Gloria Stefan restaurant out there.
And?
Loud,
yeah. Was it good? How was the food though?
Fantastic.
Was it really?
So
is it new?
It's kind of, I think so.
Because
it looks fantastic.
That happens sometimes when stuff is new, and sometimes people's names get on stuff, and then as it gets older, it gets away. Oh, absolutely.
So it was funny because my brother asked me, he's like, "How did you feel like the first 5 minutes of getting there?" Because when I walked in there, I was not thrilled.
You weren't thrilled?
No. Why?
Because it was too loud?
It was loud, and we sat right in front of the bar, right in front of the stage, rather, and my back was to the stage. So my brother was like, "How did you feel the first 5 minutes?" And I was like, "Not great."
How many times did they play Conga?
No, they did. It was an interesting set.
Yeah.
There was 2 guys on the stage. One guy doing the drums.
Okay.
Did a great job. The other guy was singing, kind of.
Okay.
If there were songs that he knew the words, he added on. And if not, he just started shaking around.
Yeah.
But he added a lot of energy and a lot of vibe. 3 minutes into the thing I was there, I looked down at my niece. She's 2 years old. She's having the greatest time of her life. Clapping.
Well, then there you go.
So I snapped out of it.
There you go.
Sometimes you get into a mood.
And sometimes it's about you. It ain't always completely about you. You're right,
your
though.
Own birthday, right?
Good for you.
And I just said to myself, it's up to me to change how I feel. And I completely shifted. And
good for you.
I told my brother and my sister-in-law that. I was like, I wasn't feeling the vibe at first, but it's up to you to change. Shit happens, man.
If you were 39, you wouldn't be smart enough. Since you turned 40, you see how you grew up so quick?
No, you're right.
Good for you, man. You grew up so quick.
Man.
All grown up.
And I think that's, when we talk about sports a lot, this is why, we're going back to some of the conversations we've had the last couple of weeks. Like, you can always grow. You can always get better. You can always learn. You can always snap out of your shit.
Can you get dumber?
100%.
Because some people seem like there's no doubt people change. But I look at people, and you're like, wow, you have to have changed a lot. Okay, even with all the crap going on with like Belichick and Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp's on every day on the air talking about different things. When they're going back to all the stuff he said now, he looks so ignorant.
Have you gone back?
No.
Before that?
No, I've watched all this stuff. YouTube will just round it all, and he looks so stupid. Like all the things you've said in the past, you're like, first of all, he's been telling himself the whole time, pretty much. And when you look at what once again, we don't know what's right, wrong, indifferent. But I do know this, okay? I don't believe Shannon Sharp raped anybody. Let me say that before I say anything, okay? I really hate these days the word rape has been diluted, all right? Here's how we go. When you see rape on a movie, the girl doesn't go back to his house the next day. That's not rape, all right? Like, he raped me twice. He raped me once here. And then when somebody rapes you don't go back to their house, okay? I hate that word rape. There's times where probably, some of the stories, he doesn't look right. But when you talk about rape, it's a forceful, mean, vindictive. People have to start reserving that word. I think they throw it out there too much now, okay? Because when somebody says, he raped me 12 years into our relationship and you were still with him for 2 more, let's reserve that word, okay? So I hate to even bring that up because I don't even believe that's a possibility, okay? I really don't. But if you look at it all, he looks so ignorant that I think you're an intelligent person for you not to have seen these signs, okay? If you say, watch for these signs, all the things they're bringing up on Entertainment Tonight, you have to be dumb not to have seen that this girl's gonna. The women. If somebody says, put black baby in me, and some of the things that you were saying, how do you think this is gonna end? That's my question. How do you think it's gonna end when you're talking to somebody during your relationship the way you are? How do you think it's gonna end? And thank God I had enough sense not to be messing with OnlyFans that are 19 and strippers and things like that, because it usually ends poorly. Obviously, Shannon Sharpe doesn't have that same gauge, and personally, when looking from the outside in, it looks like he's hiding something from me. Bad. It looks bad.
Well, I want to go back to the first thing you said about the whole rape thing.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you have like a certain connotation when word comes up, and you always think of something like that being like the worst possible thing, forceful.
Sure. Yes.
I do believe that there could be instances, and this could be one of them, where maybe if it's not to the letter of the law, the rape that I think we have discussed, I still think there is something to be said about being a strong man like him.
Oh, 100%.
And forcefully pressuring yourself on somebody that, even if you were with them for a certain amount of time or after them, if you say no is no, regardless of
understandable.
So
understandable.
There's a forceful act towards that too as well, where it may not constitute the rape that we all know, where it's, we know the connotation with the TVs and the movies, and then after that the person's scarred for life, they never go back. It's maybe a one-time thing. My whole thing is for a guy that is extremely charming and eloquent and loquacious, and just you like to listen to him at times, right? Because he's funny the way he puts his things together. And one of the stories I read about him is the one woman said, like, he's got charm now. You got charm now. Like, you have to have something to be able to.
Oh, I agree with you.
Have some type of attraction to females. Like, he's a good-looking dude. He's aged gracefully. He could go after younger women. But this is what happens in whatever culture people want to say it's the black culture. Right? I don't think it has anything to do with race. I just think it's the culture of, when you lead with that head, that's what's going to happen. Right? When your life is so focused on sex, and when your life is so focused on that lifestyle, what do you think is going to happen? Right? Like, if you're not a person that dabbles in strip clubs, if you're not a person that dabbles in OnlyFans, I don't think that there's nothing wrong with you. But if you do that, you're leading with the wrong head. Like, that's what you're thinking about. Sex is that important in your life, where everything else be damned, the chips fall where they may. Okay, that's fine. That's how you want to live your life. In your 50s, if that's your goal, you want to get your rocks off by a girl in her late teens and early 20s because that you want the new, the new bag or whatever. That's what your priority is. You open yourself up to things like this. I don't have sympathy for him. I have no empathy for him. You have millions of dollars. If anything, I think it's extremely hypocritical that ESPN, like, dangling, like, they took him forever to take him off the air. Yet Paul Pierce and some of these other guys, they're smoking and having a party with a bunch of women. Like, doesn't seem like anybody's bothered. Nobody's complaining. Yet you take those guys off the air. Now you have this situation where it's just like, I just don't quite understand why we continuously have situations like this where, this is what you're getting yourself into. Like, you're not ashamed of it. You do advertisements on your show for like the sparks and stuff like that. Like, that sex is such a prevalent part of your life. Like, if you're gonna dabble in this stuff, Ian, like, you may think that it's all on the up and up and on the the good, but there's a lot of downside to it when that's what you lead with. And if you do that, you open yourself up for things like this. So I don't have any sympathy for him whatsoever. I mean, if you did all these terrible things, then you should get punished tenfold.
I think it's more than just sex, though. Okay, because I think we all like sex. I think we all love sex, and
Yeah, but
we
I don't
always
have to
want.
lead my life with it. I don't have to.
No, I understand that.
It's such a prevalent part of his life. Like, why does it have to be that, bro? You're a super successful pro football Hall of Famer with all of these different shows. Yet all everybody wants to talk about is your sex life. Like, why?
But
does
if it was
have to be like
if it was a 35-year-old,
I don't care what your age.
I don't
is,
think
to be honest.
anybody would matter. It wouldn't matter as
I
much.
think it would
it
because-
wouldn't look as bad though. It wouldn't.
Ian, whether it's forceful sex or not, I don't care how old you are. If you're 35 or 55, people may look at it like it's a little creepier because it's a little bit older. That doesn't bother me at all because it's still legal, right? It's still legal. So it's like, it may be a little bit creepy, but if he was 35 or 55, it doesn't change anything to me. The fact is that it's such a prevalent part of who he is. And it's like, when people say, oh, I'm a sex addict or I'm addicted, stuff like that, like, if this is such a big part of your life, maybe you are. Maybe you need to reprioritize because now all of these great things you're doing, bro, this came out, regardless of what the motives are on her end, where you just had $100 million deal coming up with Colin Cowherd, like, man, get your priorities in order. If this is going to jeopardize that, nobody out there can tell me that is worth $100 million order. No way, bro.
That's why I think it's more. That's why I think it's more than sex. I really do. Because if it's sex, you can have
it's
sex.
An addiction. Then?
Well, it's because I gotta watch how I say this because some people may get offended, but I don't usually care about stuff like that. When you're reading some of the stuff that Shannon Sharp we've been exposed to, it's more than just sex. It's about dominating. It's about some creepy stuff that I don't really know about. You see what I'm saying? It's like for a full-grown ass man like myself, I'm a full-grown ass man. I went to Paso Grill Beach the other day. You know how many 19-year-old girls with perfect round asses were on the beach? For me to go out of my way to go after that, I think it says something about my mind. I'm being serious about that. It says something about my mind because as a 57-year-old man, I think he's about my age, right, Shannon? Mm-hmm. And did you hear her on the phone? I would shoot myself in the face if I had to talk to her for more than 2 minutes. So the fact that that's what you're attracted to, I think it says to the creepy factor. But Let me say this. When I hear what she says, I don't hear that he did anything wrong other than really upset her. I'm being serious about that. When I hear her speak, all I hear is, you offended me. That's all I hear. He didn't put his hands on her. Obviously, when you look back, she had a history of wanting to be choked, all right? So I've had a girl ask me to choke her, and I'm like, nah, dog, that ain't me, because I ain't putting my hands on you, then we go to court, and I have my hand marks on your neck. Ain't happening, so that's not my world. So if there's situations where she wants to be choked, and she's asked to be choked, you have to admit every time he says, I'm going to choke your ass. Even though I heard it, and it didn't sound right. So she is... I don't know if she's a victim here. You know who's a victim in here? Is Shannon's brain. That there wasn't sirens going off, that something is going to turn out poorly in this situation at this moment. And he let it go too far.
I don't feel bad for him or his brain.
I don't. Because once again, I think he's intelligent. And because he was acting gangster-like. Like I'm untouchable.
One thing I learned growing up where I grew up, bro, ain't no gangster grandfathers out there. I heard that a long time ago growing up. It didn't come from me.
Did you hear his butt stuff was his ex-girlfriend?
Yeah.
A lot of it's the same.
I know, but that's the thing, Ian, is
like threatening her.
You put yourself in a situation like that, whether somebody wants it or not. It's a very volatile situation. So, okay, fine, you may like a girl like that, and she may like that kind of stuff. But if she does like that kind of stuff, are you marrying her? We know that even in a relationship or any kind of personal friendship or whatever you have, things can go sideways and people can make shit up and people can lie and relationships can get strained. You have something that's as volatile as that, where somebody that gets off on getting choked, you think people like that are just going to break up amicably? That doesn't happen.
19-year-old OnlyFans girls who like to be choked. I mean, but that's what I'm saying. The genesis of it is crazy.
That's why I don't feel bad.
Me neither.
Because you put yourself in a position.
I don't either.
This is why I don't understand. Like, we're grown-ass adults. If you're an adult and you put yourself in situations like this and things happen, the only person that you have to blame is yourself. Regardless of what people are into. Listen, we're not judging that aspect of it. And I don't even think it's like whatever. Like, judging her. You are at your age and you have all of these things going for you, and this is what's important to you. That type of relationship, that regardless of what she's looking for, that's what you're looking for. You're unsatisfied. You're unsatisfied, and the only way that you can satisfy yourself sexually or in a different way, if like you said, it's even further. Ian, say what you just said about it's not so much about sexual, it's about domination. Bro, add sex into that. Do you think that's a conducive recipe for success in any aspect of life? I mean, unless you're working in porn, right? But he doesn't. He's a face. He's a face on one of the... He works for Walt Disney, right? Like, you have to understand. Like, Stephen A., we talked about the Stephen A. LeBron thing, right? And we said, you know, all the different things he said about him being a dad, but Stephen A. would always go back to this. I work for Walt Disney. I work for Walt Disney. That's, you know, that's who pays my... He's about to get paid by Colin Cowherd, who works for Fox, used to work for Disney. Like, if you're getting that much money, you're getting it from a corporation, you're getting that from the man, you're getting that from somebody that's telling you what to do, regardless of whether you think you have carte blanche.
That's factual.
But things like this don't help your case. You gotta be a good soldier somehow.
But he has to have enough intuition. I think that's the word I'm looking for.
No, the word is should. With too many times in this world, we talk about could, would, and should.
I understand
How much
that.
does that ever pay off?
How much is that little piece of ass right there? And it looks good. I get it. How much is that worth to you? Because that's where you have to start calculating. You know how much it cost him? It cost him. She said no to $10 million. It's already probably cost him $100 million. And it's going to cost him another $50 million down the way. That pussy couldn't be that goddamn good. That's all I'm trying to say.
It's worth nothing and everything. It's worth nothing and everything at the same time.
Everything.
Why?
That's what, I mean. It doesn't even look good, okay? It looks good visually, but it doesn't look good to nobody but you. That's the thing I don't understand. Like Bill Belichick, okay? It must look good when you lay up in the bed with her in your eyes. It don't look good in nobody else's eyes but yours.
But that's different. There's something...
Okay, we'll say it's different now, Jay. Until it ends.
No, I'm saying...
Until it ends. Let it end first.
No.
Because there's no way that... I think that young girl on the other end probably has the same mentality as a Shannon Sharp girl, okay? She's too young and too pretty to be with his old raggedy ass, okay? There's something on her side that ain't right, okay? There has to be.
I'm talking about more of the Shannon and Bill aspect of it. Because I think it's different on that end, where I think Bill's looking at this in a way of trying to stay relevant. I'm looking at Bill as trying
relevant.
Yeah. Saying that he's hit, bro. There's things that
Bill Belichick is dating that girl to stay relevant. This is not
trying to be hip.
This makes him to who? His family is questioning him right now to see if he's sane.
You don't think Shannon Sharp's?
No, but I don't think Shannon Sharp did it to be hip. But of course they're challenging her in different ways. They're saying to Shannon like, "What's wrong with you?" And they're looking at Bill like, "Are you all right?" Those are two different things. They're looking at Bill, go, "Bill, are you all right? Are you all right that you have a 20-year-old girl interrupting your interviews?
Why is she doing
full grown ass man because
why is he doing it?
Because he lets her. That's why she's
There's
doing
always
it.
A reason.
I don't know, but I don't know because it's never happening in my world.
Why wouldn't that reason that I just said because he wants to be relevant? He was a guy that didn't like to be.
That's a terrible relevance.
Let me explain.
Okay, please.
Let me explain. Bill Belichick was a guy that hated cameras. Bill Belichick was a guy that wanted to do things his own way.
I think he still
Bill
does.
Belichick looked at this situation in New England, and it went down like a ball of flames. Everybody blamed him. When Brady left, he went to the Bucs. Everybody was saying, Brady, it had nothing to do with you. He left there and couldn't get a job. Nobody wanted anything to do with Bill Belichick. What was his main goal for the next 12 to 18 months? And that was to restore his image. That was to make him more likable. That was to get more people to think that he was a real dude instead of this curmudgeon-y guy. So what did he start doing, Ian? He joined social media. He started going on Pat McAfee. And it gave people an opportunity to see a different side of him. There are people that think that she's an escort. There's people out there that are thinking that she's, in a way, kind of just molding him to be more...
I mean, she might as well be.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why when I just said...
That's what I'm saying. She might as well be an escort. But
Ian,
okay, but your PR person didn't tell you...
I'm not saying it was the right decision.
Okay,
but think about what I just told you.
Okay.
Now he's got a job at North Carolina.
Okay.
He turned down Hard Knocks. He did a CBS interview. Like, this is about image for him. He may not have picked the right person. Let me rephrase that. He did not pick the right person.
Or the right image.
I know, but Ian,
you know
I'm not discussing whether it was the right call or the not. I'm telling you, that is what he did. He didn't go about it the right way. He certainly didn't pick the right person. But that is what he's doing. That's what he's done in the last 18 months. It has all been about image reconstruction for him. He's a different guy now than he was at the end of his New England Patriots tenure. Is it better? I don't think so. It's weirder, but here's the other thing. Everybody's talking about him. And like you said in the past, and you just said with the Island Boys, right? There's a lot of publicity around Bill Belichick right now. CBS interviews, his girlfriend, North Carolina, turning down Hard Knocks. Like, he is in the conversation now when it comes to sports again. Whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, people are talking about him and this girl, and whether he went about it the right way or not, his image is different than it was 18 months ago, and she has something to do with that, good, bad, or indifferent.
I agree with most of the things you just said. The only part is you're saying his image is different. It is, but I don't think it's upticking, though. Is it upticking?
It's different, though.
Okay, but why did he want to change his image? He almost owned the whole. He almost owned the whole genre of image. Yeah, now he just what image does he have?
What was it at the end? What was it at the end?
Well, at the end, he's still stoic. You know, Bill Belichick, who's one of the best coaches ever.
That was the end of the bad end.
No,
the Atlanta Falcons wanted everybody else but him. I can see what you're saying. He needed something to make people think that he wasn't what he was. He had to change.
But good God, did somebody tell him to do that?
No, but that's the point, though.
Okay.
But isn't that the point? And this is what I say a lot when it comes to sports.
Yeah.
Different doesn't always mean better. Everybody always wants different. Mm-hmm. He's different now. This is a part. We speak about this in so many different athletes and coaches. Like, you think the narrative about somebody, think about yourself, right? Your narrative about your life leading up to pre-radio was what? Football guy, Canada, Big Ten, Buccaneers, then what? Then you were in the radio. And your legacy completely changed from just being a football player to being a dignitary, being a radio guy, and just think about how much different your life is now. Who would know that your next chapter in your life would be so prevalent to people knowing who you are? You said it to me a couple weeks ago. Like, some people know me as a radio guy and part of the list. That's 151 true. Guys. Would you be on that list if you're on the radio? I think you would, but we don't know that.
I don't.
We don't know. Right?
I don't.
But we don't know that, though, right?
We don't.
It's impossible.
But
right? But that's the point, though.
Yeah.
Is that you have these guys that have had incredible careers, and then you look at the next step and the next page, and you go, damn, that was pretty freaking profound, too. That was pretty impactful as well. This guy's going to get more love. This guy's going to get more hate. This guy's going to be looked at and viewed differently. Is there a better example than O.J. Simpson? I mean, think about it, right? O.J. had an incredible college and pro career. And that is not, the fifth or sixth thing people are ever going to say about O.J. Simpson, right? So you just don't know.
That's true, though.
So Bill Belichick's at that point now where even though he is older, this is a different chapter in the Bill Belichick book, which is a fucked up chapter that I don't even know how far along. Because here's the thing about the Belichick thing, Ian. This is going to end so badly, so poorly. I don't know if anybody can predict how this is going to end. She's going to take him for all his money. Something terrible is going to happen here with this situation.
I agree with you, unless, because as you've been talking, Jay, I'll be honest with you, my opinion has changed a little bit. Because as you've been talking, it almost like this is planned. Almost. Because
it is.
If it doesn't end ugly, it was planned. Because a lot of it doesn't make sense. Like, when you see the two together,
it's weird.
I see anything but love. I see anything but, like, attraction. Like, I'm 57. There's got to be to a point where that girl, she ain't digging me because I'm sexy. I know that. There's something else. There has to be. I don't know if I ever want to be there. And I'm going to be honest with you, it's not about an older person dating a younger person. I don't dislike that. I really don't. It's not about that. I'm all good. But when you look at a 19-year-old girl, a 20-year-old OnlyFans girl, if that is who you have a lot in common with, you got to start looking in the mirror, yo.
Yeah.
You have to start looking in the mirror, because I don't care how old you are or what somebody's status is. If you're interviewing and somebody's interrupting your interview, I don't care. I don't care if that's your wife from 40 years. That shouldn't be the case, okay? I don't find that to be overly manly, okay? And that could be sexist. I don't give a rat's ass. They're not asking your wife about, her journey as being a wife. You're asking you about your journey, okay? Your wife can't say that's the. I'm grown, okay? If my wife or my significant other, he can't. Don't ask him that question. I can say that. If she's in the room, that's fine, but do not interrupt. Or even I see Alec Baldwin, he's talking, and his wife puts her hand up in his face. I don't get all that kind of stuff. I gotta find somebody else, okay? Find somebody who respects me. And what she did to Bill Belichick was not respectful, okay? It looks bad. I never heard anybody say that looked good. Does she look good? She's aight to me. I don't find she's all that. She looks good for Bill Belichick, but at the end, it just looks bad. He just looks like a creepy old cat, okay? And I hate to hate, but it just doesn't look good, man. And with Shannon, when you look at it all, as the big pie, it doesn't look good. It makes you look ignorant. And it's sad because he's one of the representatives of black people doing the right thing. And you talk about stereotypes, you just threw away hundreds of $millions for a piece of ass? Good for you. That's a stereotype. Good for you. I guess you lead it right into it.
So those two guys definitely on the forefront of the conversation when it comes to the sports world. And another guy, I mean, it's been a while since, we've been on air and the whole Shedeur Sanders thing. We were unpacking this thing for a couple months. And then now he gets drafted in the 5th round by the Cleveland Browns. And now we see videos that he's working out with Tom Brady. And they're like, he's working out with his mentor, Tom Brady. And I go, it's kind of weird. Like, you had 4 opportunities to draft the guy to have him be your protege under your own roof, but now he's with the Cleveland Browns, and it's just this whole situation's been pretty funky too.
Well, I mean, it's also, I find, set up as well. I before the draft, I remember saying, boy, there's so many negative things going on about Shedeur. Like, I don't think I've ever heard that many negative things. Now, then when you listen to the stories, they seem like legitimate stories, okay? And a lot of times, things can be overblown, okay?
And that's what you said earlier on, because I want to go back to that, because you had such a different outlook on on a lot of people, because my whole thing was when I see a guy that we know pretty well, and Trevor Sikkema, who's, really gone up the ranks from Computer Report and all the way up, and he said that 2 people came up to him separately at the Combine.
Yeah.
And he went on Dan Patrick and said that he didn't interview well. And Trevor's not that guy. Like, he's not a scooper. He's not a guy that's trying to, he just talks ball. He breaks down tape, talks ball. And then, a week later, somebody else was like, I had 2 people, and I had 2 people. And eventually it's smear campaigns at this time of the year, and like you said, a lot of it is smoke screens.
A lot of it is.
But you and I both said, if it comes out after the fact that this hurt his draft stock, maybe we need to put a little bit more, credence into... Shit, man, this guy might have been fucking up, and we were just trying to give him. We weren't trying to harp on the kid because he's a kid at the end of the day. But obviously, some of that stuff had to be true. Like the interviews with the Giants, we heard were terrible. There was something else where there was another GM that he came into the room and Shedeur was like, "Are you guys sell me? What are you gonna do for
Correct,
me?"
Yeah.
And the guy's like, "That's not how this works here."
Nope.
So I think, and let's not forget, no representation, no agent to tell Shedeur, "Hey, this is how it's gonna go." I understand why people want to vouch for themselves, but not everybody's Richard Sherman. Not everybody went to Stanford, right? And this was, obviously he didn't get drafted. He was a 3rd, 4th round draft pick himself, right? So, in a situation like this, there wasn't enough people around Shedeur, in my opinion, to tell him what he was doing wrong and what people were saying about him, because he just looked at everything as negative, everything is everybody hating on me. Like, at the end of the day, man, it's not always that. Sometimes you need people. If you have too many yes men in your crew, you got the wrong crew. You need somebody, and that's why I think you and I have gotten along so well over the years. Is if I do something or you do something, we say something, we're not going to let each other keep talking.
That's a fact.
We're going to be like, yo, this is what I think. I don't necessarily agree with that. You and I don't agree with each other just for the sake of agreeing. And that has not always happened with whether it's people we've worked with or people in our lives. And we understand that. But I think there's only a certain limit you can go to, with a friendship with somebody like that, when you can't, I won't say cross the line, but if you can't check somebody that you consider close. And I think in a situation like this, he didn't have anybody like that, and it really, really hurt him, because whatever shortcomings on the field didn't allow him to get drafted early. All the stuff off the field, because you know as well as I do, the last thing you want is your backup quarterback to have the biggest circus on your team. It just doesn't work out that way.
Let me go an angle that maybe I haven't heard anybody else say, and maybe they've said it. I'm not saying, I don't listen to everybody speak. My kids, I told them, when you play sports, you put Beckles on your jersey, it's going to mean something before you do anything. I told them that because, especially with my son playing football, but even with my daughters, if you're a former football player's daughter, it means something, okay? You have to understand it means something.
Right.
People are going to expect something, all right? I told them that. The fact that you put Sanders on your back, did it benefit him before the draft? Let me ask you the question. If his name was Jones, do you think he would have had 1/10 of the NIL?
No.
Okay, so did it benefit him having Sanders on his back? Before, yes.
Yeah, of course.
Did it benefit him after? If you really think about it, okay, here's why, okay? Watch this. Watch me. Nobody's been more cocky as an athlete than Deion Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody. I really can't think of one. Muhammad Ali kind of guy. Deion Sanders, I'm the best. Prime time. Blase. But Ricky didn't present himself like Deion.
No, he didn't.
I'm talking about presentation.
Bro, Ricky
was braggadocious and more. Deion was his cockiness.
Bro,
Ricky was so dumb he couldn't be Deion. He wasn't smart enough.
Ricky never.
But he wasn't smart enough. I hung out with him. He's not
Ricky
smart.
was in the third person the entire time.
That's what I'm saying, though. Deion was eloquent, giving himself beautiful nicknames, had a wonderful curl. Everything he did flowed perfectly. There's stories of him going to the combine and not even tying his shoes up and running a 4.3. He's taunting the crowd. You put him the ball, he takes it back. That's Deion, okay?
Right.
So did it benefit him having his name before? Yes. Did it benefit him afterwards? No, because the same guy that got you all this NIL money is the same guy that's going to tell you to act this way because it's the way I act. Here's the problem. Every time the lights went on, Deion was there, okay? It doesn't matter, okay? Deion can go, I'm the best, and then go on the field and be the best. Shador's not the best. So if you walk into a room in NFL acting like you're the best, they're going to go, oh, buddy. Hey, buddy. Now, I don't want this team to draft me. What? If my agent said I don't want this team to draft me, I'm punching them in the face. Are you crazy? That's counterproductive. So Deion's mentality definitely hurt Shador.
Deion said that.
It definitely did.
Deion said we're going to pick where he's going to go.
Well, somebody said, that's what he said.
You
don't think anybody hears that? Everybody
heard that.
You're going to do what? So somebody said to me the other day, there's no way that Shador is a fifth-round talent. I go, you're 100% right. If his name was Jones and nobody said anything, he'd have got drafted probably second round. I still don't think we still don't. He might have been in the first round. He might have been.
He might not have been even playing in the NFL.
You might be right because maybe we wouldn't have heard about him so much.
He went to Jackson State out of high school. He wasn't going to LSU. Wasn't going to Miami. Sure. He wasn't going to Alabama. He went to Jackson State.
Yeah.
He went to Jackson State, played for his dad. Then he went to Colorado. So it's not like, let's not act like the guy, not you, but like he didn't go to Alabama, Georgia, LSU. People aren't knocking down the doors for Shador Sanders, right? And then now, you always tell me, this guy's not a fifth round. Here you are.
Yeah, you
are. Got drafted.
Because that's where you got picked. There's a reason why.
Shit, people don't slide. Grady and Beckles told me, if you don't slide, that's where you're supposed to get drafted.
Sure.
And then listen, if your physical traits don't have any of these teams thinking that you're a top 1 or 2 round pick, you know what they're telling you? You're a backup. And then again, you know what they don't want? They don't want a Tebow. They don't want a Kaepernick. They don't want a Cam Newton. They don't want a Manziel. You didn't think Baker was going to be that guy. Those type of guys that are so headstrong and have so much fanfare around them, like, sorry, man, people like that are not going to, or organizations and franchises like that, they're not going to want their backup quarterback because every single time your starting quarterback does something wrong, they're going to be calling for you. You don't want that, man. That's not good. That's not healthy for your team.
All those names that you brought up, the only difference is they all got drafted really high. You see what I'm saying? So there was question marks about those guys.
And those guys couldn't do it.
I know they could. Well, Kaepernick did.
No, he didn't.
He didn't do what? He didn't have success?
I'm saying he wasn't a backup.
No, but you're saying...
what I'm saying is those guys are drafted high.
Yes.
And they couldn't even do it.
Correct.
And they're not. Well, fifth-round picks are supposed to be like, hey, I'm probably going to be a backup.
Yes.
These guys were first-round picks.
They might have got They might have got a starter in the 5th round. That's a possibility. Okay.
He could.
But my thing is, Tebow did it in maybe the weirdest way I've ever did it because if you look back, Tebow didn't do it. Okay, I'm sorry because
you did it.
Jay. Because let me ask you this question.
You say the same thing about a 5th-round pick. You say the guy's a 5th-round pick.
Okay, but I'm not just talking because
Tebow was a first-round pick.
Success is not just winning as a quarterback.
Okay,
as a quarterback, because Sean King wouldn't have won with any other football team. That's my brother.
Anybody. You can say that about anybody.
So some guys are so
Ian,
good
that
they can.
All the time. You can't use that argument for yourself at sometimes and against yourself at other times, because you said that Vinny Testaverde, if he got drafted by somebody else, it would be different. That's your argument.
But I do know
you can't let me use your argument against you.
But I do know the guys who have shortcomings, like Sean King as a rookie. I do know in a different situation he would not have succeeded. Tim Tebow would not have succeeded. People can argue all they want. I'm just telling everybody, Tim Tebow would not have succeeded on a team that didn't have a great defense.
Right.
We can just stop it there, okay? He had a great. So when people say Tim Tebow was, well, all we got to do is go back to the statistics and say he wasn't. He won a couple games, okay. He won a couple big games, okay. But in the midst of it, he wasn't a great quarterback. Maybe the good Lord or whatever there's a reason why they won, but you still have to evaluate them as football players, because some guards get beat all the time and your team still wins. Tim Tebow, I think his percentage is 40% completion. So if anybody else, we wouldn't be talking about if he wasn't Tim Tebow.
You can use that argument for Tebow, but you can't use it for Testaverde then.
Well, Testaverde was on the other end of the spectrum. I'm saying when Vinny Testaverde comes into Tampa Bay and there's no offensive line and there's no offensive coordinator and there's no speed and they want him to be successful, that's what the normal first pick gets. When you're Joe Montana and you get thrown into Hall of Fame running back, Hall of Fame offensive coordinator, Hall of Fame offensive lineman, Hall of Fame defense, Hall of Fame organization, it's all a different feel.
Right.
So it's not
all about where you're
it's
from.
not exactly,
it's
but
all about where you go.
So, but some of that is luck. Okay, some of that is where you get placed.
Okay, so you have to be careful with how you describe that, because if you say that Joe Montana got all of these great things because of where he went, you can't say that Tim Tebow can't reap some of those same benefits too. I am not one of those people that is like, Tim Tebow was walked on water, blah, blah, blah. But like, he does deserve some of those credit. He does
I give him some credit, but not as a good quarterback. When people say he was a good quarterback, no, he wasn't.
He had some good moments. He had some good moments.
Yeah, I agree. But people say that though, Jay.
But they're Tebow lovers. You got to take those people out.
The other day, somebody said to me, watch me, okay? Somebody said, Shador is one of the best college quarterbacks ever. I go, why? And they go, well, look what he did. I go, what did he do? And they were so at arms, and they go, he was better than Tim Tebow. I look at him, I go, I'm going to be honest with you. I am not a Tim Tebow fan, but that is a wrong statement.
He was a fantastic college football player.
Why is that? What are we talking about? He's a Heisman Trophy winner that won a national championship. Almost two. So what are we talking about? I watched Tim Tebow, and I've heard on the air, I had somebody say, Tim Tebow is the best college football player ever. I go, he's not top 50 in me. Okay? Because if you put Antoine Randall on that Florida team, they score 100 points a game. Okay, I'm not taking away from Tim Tebow, but Antoine Randall did everything better than Tim Tebow, all right? Other than the leadership. So you have to take things in perspective. I'm not dogging Tim Tebow, but if you take Tim Tebow and take him off the Florida team, which, you know what I just said about Joe Montana, is the equivalent of that Florida team. They had some of the fastest, most talented
different sports.
NFL players.
College and pros are completely different.
Okay, but listen, Jay, right? He played with legitimate NFL stars in college. If you look at the whole grand scheme, he had all-pro linemen, all-pro tight ends, running backs who were the fastest in the history of the game, okay? And he had the best offensive coordinator in the world, and his defense was ranked number 1, okay? So to say he's the best college player ever, to me, it hurts my feelings, because this is why, Jay, this is why. If you take him and put him on Indiana, we won't really know much about him, because they weren't that talented. It's hard to do that, because even when I had this big discussion about basketball, they were just comparing the different eras and different players. I don't think you can compare Kobe and LeBron and Michael Jordan. And to me, you should put Kareem in there. You should put Wilt Chamberlain in there. None of them are better than the other one. Michael Jordan won the best ever. He may be the most polarizing ever. But there's certain situations where I'll take Kareem over Michael Jordan. Okay, so it's hard when people say that guy's the best, because if Terry Bradshaw was on a lesser team, he wouldn't be a Hall of Famer. That's the reality. And that's not taking away from him, though.
Who can't you make that argument about, though, other than the greatest of the greatest?
Well, there's certain guys that are so talented. I believe that I think Patrick Mahomes wins anywhere he is. I really do.
But you don't know that, though. Because you're going in a situation where if he was the clear-cut guy, he wasn't the number 1 overall pick.
I don't think anything would have...
guy with a legacy. He went to a place with Andy Reid. Like, we can't just move the goalpost now. If he went to a team that was heavily defensive and he didn't have an offensive mastermind and he didn't sit behind a guy like Alex Smith for a year, like there's a lot of things that went in the favor of Patrick Mahomes that allowed him to grow into the guy he is today, right? That your situation has you've said this yourself. Your situation has everything to do with where you're.
But some guys are so good, I don't think anything can hold them down. I don't think anything can hold Lamar Jackson down.
But you don't know because those guys could be what if. Those guys could be what if.
Nothing can hold Lamar Jackson down. No way.
Baltimore. What do you mean? Going into the NFL, going into the pros, people thought that the guy should have been a wide receiver.
I understand that.
You have to go to a place like John Harbaugh and the Baltimore Ravens, and you have to have offensive coordinators to expand and expound on the skill set that he had. That works out for him. If they were so stubborn, and we've seen this in the pros before, where they go, hey, this is the kind of guy, this is what he needs to do to get better. He needs to be a pocket passer. He needs to just run on his own account, off platform, those type of things. We're not going to build automatic runs in there because we're scared of how it's going to turn out, like a Cam Newton, right? Lamar Jackson went to a place where he had, I think it was Barney Moore, and then he's worked with Greg Orman, who worked with Colin Kaepernick in San Francisco and got the most out of his talent. Remember how good Colin Kaepernick was at his peak? Remember? People don't want to talk about that because of everything else. But when Kaepernick was up there,
oh no, you're not telling nobody.
He was a beast.
Yeah, he was.
He was a beast. But those same guys that worked with him are where? Are in Baltimore, accentuating Lamar Jackson. If he didn't have that situation there when it was like, we are going to design runs for you. We are not going to take away the things that make you special. We're not going to have you be a guy that should be a wide receiver. Like, that has a lot to do with it. I think that there's greatness that overshines it. I do agree if you're a guy like Gretzky or maybe a guy like Michael Jordan, I think wherever you go. But I think for the majority of the time, there is a lot of different people out there where it's marginal. There is marginal. There's certain guys where if you go to certain places, I don't think you're ever going to see them reach the expectations.
Is Kyler Murray a good quarterback?
I don't know.
I don't know either, but he gets $40 million a year.
Yeah, but he was also the number 1 overall pick. He's an incredible athlete.
But what I'm saying is, I don't care where Lamar Jackson is. You're not going to hide his talent. It's impossible.
Kyler Murray's got talent.
No, I don't think he has talent as a quarterback. I think he has a talent as an athlete. Lamar Jackson has talent as a quarterback, and he shows it.
Look at the situation. Kyler Murray's had what, 3 different head coaches.
Yeah, but Kyler Murray's never showed me anything to make me think that he's going to be the reason why.
You can't argue that. You can't argue that the surroundings have nothing to do with it. When Lamar Jackson went to one of the most stable franchises in all of professional sports. Like, this happens all the time where there's guys, not saying that has nothing to do with him, but you look at franchises where they are in sports, and guys have all the talent in the world, and they go to a place and their coaching sucks, their owner sucks. We don't know how good those guys are going to be, right? How good would Jaden Daniels be this year if he didn't go to a place with Dan Quinn, who's already taken a team to a Super Bowl, that guy that's already been in the league, respected around the league, right? He has all these different guys on offense and defense, and Eckler and Bobby Wagner. Like, he's got a great leadership core there. If Jaden Daniels didn't have that situation, we're talking about Jameis Winston.
We don't know.
Right? We don't know.
We don't know.
There's a good example. What if Jameis went to the Ravens? What if Jameis went to the Niners? What if Jameis went to a place where the offense coordinator knew exactly what to do with him, the defense was there, the running situation was there, the ownership was steady?
Can you think of any situation where Jameis would be better than Lamar? That's all I'm trying to say.
I don't know.
It comes down to talent, Jay, because if you talk about Kyler Murray...
Going into the draft, nobody said that it was a bad
I don't
decision.
ever care going into the...
but it matters.
No, I'm just talking about... I'm talking about NFL talent, okay?
But your analysis when does that start? When is your analysis
if I ask you if Kyler Murray is a good quarterback and you pause, and I understand why you pause, because I would have to pause.
Right.
Okay, because he makes $40 million, it'd be wrong for me to say he's not a good quarterback when a lot of teams would want him, okay?
But
if you can say that Kyler Murray, if you don't know if he's a good quarterback or not, Lamar Jackson is 5 times better than Kyler Murray at everything that Kyler Murray does.
Agreed.
So that means it's not about his situation. He's that damn good. So there's certain guys, and Lamar Jackson's going to Hall of Fame. There's certain guys, Calvin Johnson, I don't care where you put him. I don't care where you put Lamar Jackson. You can't hide that talent. Nowhere. Nobody taught him that. Having a great situation is great, obviously, but even if he wasn't there, if you put Lamar Jackson in with the Cardinals, he still goes to the Hall of Fame. He's
I don't know
too
about that.
he's too damn talented, bro. He's
don't know
too
if that
damn
matters,
no.
though, man.
Of course it matters.
Why?
Well, you know why?
Ian,
You know why?
because
Because
so
if you're a
if your
defensive
offense-
coordinator and you're playing against Lamar Jackson, you are 10 times more scared than if you're playing against Kyler Murray.
We're not talking about apples for apples. We're talking about situations. If Lamar Jackson's playing in Arizona and your offensive line is dog shit and it's not as good as Baltimore,
He'll
and
still
somebody
be
comes
great. He'll still be great.
Ian, if somebody
Kyler
comes-
Murray still looks great to people, and that's
Ian,
what's
if
happening over there.
somebody comes across the right end and breaks Lamar Jackson's leg in year 2 because their offensive line is dog shit, because their team sucks.
Nobody ever hits Lamar Jackson. He's different. He's different.
Ian, from the right
He's a
end,
different athlete.
Ian, he does take some hits. Okay, we do know that, but the situation is different. If he's running for his life and his offensive line sucks in Arizona, it doesn't suck in Baltimore. If it sucks in Arizona and that guy gets hit and he has an injury that takes him out, we never see Lamar Jackson. It becomes a what-if story. The situation has everything to do with it in that part. In the fostering stages of a guy's young career, I think it starts there. Because Lamar Jackson wasn't an MVP in year 1. Right, it took a little time.
Well,
And then
everybody, it
him,
takes time
it
with
was
everybody.
the work and the team. Yeah, but we still don't know. It does, but we still don't know about Kyler Murray.
I think Lamar Jackson is one of the few quarterbacks in the history that makes everybody better, period.
Okay, so he's Lamar Jackson. But again, that's the top of the top. We're talking about
I
the
understand.
marginal guys.
I understand.
Like, we can make that discussion about how many guys in the NFL.
As far
4
as what?
5?
As far as what?
The
They're that
situations may
talented?
not- no, what I'm saying, where the situations may not be the biggest factor whether they're going to achieve their apex or not.
See, when I say that Vinny Testaverde on the San Francisco 49ers would be a Hall of Famer, I'm just saying it's a good chance. If I say if Joe Montana went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he wouldn't be Joe Montana, okay? That doesn't mean he's not going to succeed,
Right.
okay? So it's what we're talking about, Jay, is immeasurable. It's impossible. Like you said, what if he? You have to put that in it, okay? Because somebody like Patrick Mahomes, okay, or Aaron Rodgers, both of those you could put in the same little bunch. Instead of them getting thrown on the field in week 1 and getting their wig split, and then all the media people telling them how shitty they are, they got to sit back and watch it for 2 years, 1.5 years, 3 years, and go, oh my God, it's not as hard as I thought it was, okay? Instead of going through the fire, okay? So if they went through the fire, their careers would be different. Maybe better.
Look at Peyton Manning.
It may be better, though. Maybe worse. Because maybe that beginning, they're like, this is hard. Jaden Daniels, okay? My boy from the Texans, the quarterback from Texans.
C.J. Stroud.
C.J. Stroud. He didn't progress this year. And that happens a lot.
That second year, yeah.
Sometimes you're like, the first year you're like, oh my God, this guy's amazing. Jaden Daniels he may regress next year. It's possible. Because next year, the coaching staff is going to go, well, we have to start doing this, and this. Now all of a
And other
sudden,
teams adjust.
you're playing chess now, and you were playing checkers before. Now you're playing chess, and the game changes. Not saying he was. I think he looks, I love his attitude. Because for him to go into the playoffs and not look rattled ever, as a rookie, I think that's maybe the most important thing in greatness.
For now.
Forget about your arm and stuff, but the fact that he didn't crumble to me in that situation to me, it says a lot.
Well, doesn't it come down to accuracy and decision making?
It's being comfortable.
Yeah, but I mean,
Because you can't. What you just said, you can't do that unless you're comfortable, and it's really hard your rookie season to be comfortable in the playoffs in a pocket with that many people watching and that many people cheering for you.
the Bucks aren't chasing you anyway. They ain't no pass.
No, but that's true. But listen, my rookie year, I said I crumbled just playing in Dallas Stadium. It was too much for me. This guy played a playoff game, and you have a whole country looking at you like, what are you doing? I bet against him because I go, he shouldn't be doing this. And I was wrong. He was better than I thought he was in that situation. I thought that situation was going to crush him.
He was good.
Really, really good, though. Like
Very
the best out there. That's hard to do as a young kid,
He
bro.
wasn't turning the football over. Which
Nothing.
Was good. And then, we circle back to Shador, and now, working out with Tom Brady.
I don't think that's a story even really, because he's just working out with a
He's just
quarterback
working out
coach.
with him.
Because Tom Brady can't teach Shador anything. You know what I'm saying? It sounds great. Tom Brady can teach you X's and O's, but your coach is gonna have to undo half of that because everybody thinks differently. He can teach you stuff, but he doesn't know their playbook.
Do you think he's going to start
No,
in year 1?
no.
At all?
No.
No games?
I don't think so. I don't think it's wise to start him.
Flacco?
That's why it's hard to pick a guy.
Yeah, Flacco, Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, Shedeur.
We're talking, I think we're both somewhat intelligent sports minds. We're asking if a 5th round quarterback is going to start. Right away, we're messing it up. You know what I mean? Because we're messing up all the other quarterbacks are in front of him, which is a few. You know what I mean? Yeah. We're just jumping. So we're evaluating, because I heard somebody say he's one of the best. And I was like, no, he wasn't. He's one of the most polarizing and the most viewed. But once again, what he was asked to do usually does not translate to the NFL. That's all scouts were saying. What his system was, okay, old boy from Ward from Miami, their system is more wide open, pass, pocket, read. Tim Tebow never read a defense in his life. Patrick Mahomes said, I never read a defense in my life. I was just better than everybody else. I get that. When I got to the NFL, bro, I just beat everybody because I was bigger and faster than them. When you get to the NFL and you're not bigger and faster anymore, then it comes to intelligence. And the guy, like, I played against Jim Jeffcoat my rookie year, okay? I watched Jim Jeffcoat get drafted 12, 14 years before that. He had 14 years of tutelage, and my young narrow ass rose up in there, and he was just clubbing the shit out of me. Like I was a little paper doll. Like, what? Look, you were watching me 14 years ago, and I've been learning. That's the part people don't get. Is if you play chess, when your first year of playing chess, as opposed to your 15th year playing chess, is you see so much more. And Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers and all these guys as rookies, they got to see it and not get killed.
Yeah.
And I think that's the best thing for some of these young kids.
So you think it'll pay off for Shedeur in the long run?
Yes. Yes, I really do, actually.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever thought about that. But if he did get drafted in the first round, there'd be so much more pressure. This is one of the reality of it. We don't know if he's going to make the team. We don't. He should, maybe what we saw in college, he should. But there's people at that level, quarterbacks that don't make it. Lots of them. I think he has a big enough name. I think already he's going to sell jerseys, so I don't think they're going to cut him personally. But there's so much added pressure on them already. And I don't think
the
GMs
Browns or the Sanders?
The Browns. There already is. Because if they don't win, you know what people are going to say? Why don't you play him? What will it hurt?
Yeah.
Forget about what they see in practice. They're going to go just play. You know who was a great example? Who's our guy here from Kyle Trask, right?
Yeah.
Just play him. What could it hurt? They've been watching him in practice for many, many years. If he was good enough and he could win, they would put him in. Okay? They went and got Baker Mayfield for a reason. No. Just, he doesn't deserve anything for what if Kyle Trask didn't go to Florida, nobody would ever talk about him. So that's, I think, is one of the issues with fans is they get so enamored with, he was a great college player. You know me, Jay. I couldn't care less if you were good, bad, whatever, because I watched too many Ali Marpettes. Ali Marpet, if he was a first rounder, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. Hobart? That makes it a big deal, okay? Right. So nobody knows. I had a big conversation with somebody in Puerto Rico, and I tried to reiterate to the person. He goes, well, this guy's going to be, I go, you don't know that. He goes, yes, I do. No, you don't. No, the first pick in the draft, Jamarcus Russell sucked. Jamarcus Russell didn't play one good game in the NFL. And they got everybody in the whole world to pick from. So you can't say something and go, that guy is definitely going to... Nobody. I don't care who it is, okay? Greg Oden, who would have thought he would never really play a good game?
Man.
He never really played a good game. And it doesn't matter if you're injured or not. It doesn't matter. So evaluating athletes is hard to do, brother. Especially in football. And especially in the quarterback position.
Before we wrap things up here... I don't know if we spoke about this, but you went to the Lightning game. Did you get to meet some offensive linemen there?
I did. It was actually, it was interesting. The great Derek Brooks, I hit Derek up and I said, hey, can you get me in the Chase Club, if that's what you still call it? I don't know what they call it anymore. So he goes, man, I don't have any tickets. And he goes, but I might get you some executive suite tickets. And I go, that'd be cool. So he got me 4 executive suite tickets, and I ended up got the great Tom Ponzo and my daughter and her friend, and we walked into the back area, and there was... about 7 woolly mammoths wearing blue jerseys, and I looked over and I saw Tristan Wirfs, and Tristan Wirfs and I, we caught eyes. Like, this happened to me one other time. It was with Cedric the Entertainer. I walk in, and we catch eyes, and Tristan Wirth looks at me, and I look at him, and he points at me. And I walk over to him, and he goes, oh, I've been wanting to meet you for a long time.
Oh, wow.
And I look at you, and I go, that makes me feel good. I go, because I've been trying to meet you forever, bro. And he was like, hey, man, I see your son all the time, and your son's a great kid. And so we started talking a little bit, and what a good kid. Just bubbly, smiley. You know what? Offensive linemen in general are just easygoing people. Like, everybody thinks football players are prima donnas. Hang around offensive linemen, dude. They're shotgunning beers and they're belching and they're just regular cats. The whole offensive line was there. I took a picture with them all.
That's great.
You can go to my Instagram, Ian_Beckles. There's a picture of it. But I looked like I shouldn't have played that position because I was standing there and
look at these mountains.
Gedeke's 6'7" and some, I think.
Yeah.
He long, dog, but they're so big.
Yeah, they're big dudes.
Like, not really, but they're broad too. They're big.
Cody Mauch?
Yeah, he looked like a big old country corn fan.
No teeth.
But he looks like, if you say, what do you think he does? Oh, he's an offensive lineman.
He's awesome, man.
And when he's done, he's going to be an offensive line coach, probably.
Yeah, of course.
For sure.
D3 college.
With a dip in his mouth.
Yeah.
Spitting on your new shoes.
It was good to meet Tristan, huh?
It was really, I almost say it's a highlight of my athletic career, meeting Tristan Wirth in a weird way. I swear to God. I would still like to interview him.
Yeah.
I like to sit down and interview him. I know there's another story in there, and we have a lot in common. I like the kid. I don't grab on to anybody. And if I had one jersey, I would wear a Tristan Wirth jersey. I'm not wearing nobody else's jersey.
Really?
Tristan Wirth's jersey, yeah. If anybody wants to buy me something for Christmas.
Tristan Wirth's jersey.
Tristan Wirth's jersey, yeah.
For Christmas? For Christmas?
For Christmas, yeah. For Christmas.
For Christmas.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, this is a guy that's going to go down. I mean, when it's all said and done.
He might be the best Buccaneer ever when it's over. He might. He can be. He has the ability to. That's saying something now. I was thinking of the all-time teams. All-time best Buccaneer team. I think we can represent, bro.
What do you mean?
Like, if they said all-time Cowboys team or all-time Buccaneers team or all-time, I think we could put a good team. I'm saying we. I don't think I'm gonna make the team, but the all-time Buccaneer team.
With everybody at the height of the powers, because you have
they
Brady.
got Tom Brady. Okay, now you got
Running
Leroy
back.
Selman, Derek Brooks, Warren Sapp, Simeon Rice, Rondé Barber, John Lynch. It's pretty good defense, bro. Levante David might not make the team. I put Hardy Nickerson a middle linebacker, bro. Hardy Nickerson and Derek Brooks. Yikes.
You know what I'm saying? Down lineman.
Vita Vea has to be on there. Vita Vea, Warren Sapp.
And Ndamukong Suh. What are you playing? What kind of defense?
I don't know. That's wow. But
who's your offensive lineman?
Frank is definitely making this.
Yeah,
GTS of the team.
Offensive line is going to be Tristan Wirth.
Gruber's not making the team.
I'm trying to think of a better other.
No, on this team you're probably putting Tristan at right tackle.
No, that's definite. But I'm trying to think if anybody else was a tackle for us.
Tony's playing center. Ryan Jensen?
No, I say go Ryan Jensen. Ryan Jensen is bigger.
Yeah.
Bigger.
Smart guy.
I'll put Cozy Coleman and who's the other brother? Who's the brother with the dreads? No, Davin Joseph. Davin Joseph was really good.
Yeah.
Davin Joseph gets one guard and we'll fight over the other guard.
Ali Marpet's the other guard.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about Ali Marpet. Yeah. I forgot about Ali. Ali's before Davin Joseph. Ali was really good. Ali was really, really good. And tight end, Gronk. We're pretty good, bro. We're pretty good. And then we got Mike Evans and Keyshawn. We're pretty good.
I don't think you change it.
That's what I'm saying.
Evans, Godwin, AB.
Whoa, AB.
Keyshawn ain't making the team.
No, you got to pick Keyshawn on the team.
He's on
no, absolutely. Keyshawn as a possession receiver, he got 100 balls 1 year. No touchdowns. If you have Godwin, Keyshawn.
Who's your running backs? All-star.
He's my fullback because it's a technicality. He doesn't make a running back.
Work done.
Boy, oh boy.
How about Highlight Cadillac? Pete Cadillac.
No. Come on. No. He got those were lucky games. Nah, it was just lucky games. He wasn't a great running back. He wasn't a great running back. He wasn't. Even during those 4 games,
Michael Clayton's on the team.
No, he can't make. He won't break. He's about. Nah. Special teams.
That's what I'm saying.
Special teams. Okay.
Michael Clayton's out.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Short yardage situation.
Yeah.
Michael Clayton and Chris Godwin out there.
Tough, dog.
Michael Clayton and Chris Godwin blocking on the outside.
Yeah, we good. We good.
I think that's a good team.
We got a good team.
Gramatica. Kicker. Who's a punter?
Over Iggy?
Yes.
Are we
Royals.
including hair? Mark Royals?
Mark Royals and yeah.
You don't remember the great Dan Straczynski, though?
Yes, I do.
Do you
Who's
remember
the head coach?
You don't remember Dan Straczynski?
Of course I do. I had the card.
The punter?
Yeah.
Where did he go to school?
I don't know that.
You know where he went?
Indiana.
Indiana.
Who's the head coach of this team? Ooh.
I'll give it to Bruce Arians.
You know what you would do with this team? You would have Dungy coach it.
I didn't think about
That's
Tony
how you would do it.
Oh, no, Tony Dungy's coach.
That's how you would do it.
Oh, no. I'm
Right?
done. I'm sorry, I misspoke. Tony Dungy's coach. I
That's the thing
wasn't
is,
thinking.
like, you do this
I wasn't
team,
thinking
you
that.
have Gruden and Arians, like, hey, you got the Super Bowl rings.
Gruden, who?
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no. Nobody's
Gruden
picking
and
him.
Arians got the rings, but
nobody's
for this
picking
team,
him.
Tony Dungy.
Can I tell you somebody who couldn't coach that team? John Gruden. It would implode immediately. There's too many.
It's only one game. You gotta win.
Yeah, there's too much, bro. The whole year would be an inferno in that building. It would go off. Whoo, Lord. A lot.
People still love
Monty
Vincent
Kiffin.
Gruden.
I know they do. From Barstool. They forget all the things he said and did because he's on Barstools.
Well, I mean, people that won a championship with him, they like to.
I know.
You're not the guy.
They're like, oh, you don't. Why don't you like John Gruden? I go, well, do you know him? Well, okay, well, I know him. That's why. I mean, that's my answer. Why don't you like him? Because I know him. That's it. I don't have to say elaborate on that.
That's it.
I know him. That's it. Sorry.
All right, that's gonna wrap it up for us.
Yeah,
'cause
man.
Ian doesn't want to talk about his guy John Gruden anymore.
I have nothing to blow smoke on. I came unprepared.
That's great. I mean, what's wrong with you?
You know what I mean? Really.
Go back to Puerto Rico.
I
You
got a
do your
whole.
thing.
Oh, don't worry. We made up for a lost time in Puerto Rico. Please.
What do you got going on right now at the Dignitary Cafe, bruh?
Well, we're just sipping on the best kratom and kava in the world almost. We did go to a kava bar in Puerto Rico.
Oh yeah, how was that?
The guy was cool. Met the owner and he stole a lot of his stuff. We're gonna steal a lot of his
Nice.
recipes and it's just good to see a different feel. But kava is just something that is it's gonna be something. If you talk about something that's up and coming,
Right.
and it's been coming. In the next 5 years, I don't think anything is going to grow more than kava and kratom. I really do believe that. Because people are going to not drinking alcohol. Because I just spent a weekend with somebody who drinks alcohol and I don't care for it.
They drank alcohol?
Yeah, I don't care for it to be around it.
Okay.
I don't. I'm just going to let everybody know. And I used to be that guy, Jay.
Bad experience?
I used to be... That's not a bad experience. I just don't care for it anymore.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean?
I
I just don't want to babysit anymore. And I think I used to be that guy that's sad when I think about it. But I'm over it.
Yeah.
I'm
Don't
over
blame
it.
you.
I like good conversation.
I'm with you. That's what we have here, right here on the Beckles and Recher podcast.
And I'm drunk.
Every Wednesday. No, you're not. Every Wednesday
Yeah.
at 3 o'clock right here at the Dignitary Cafe. Follow him, Ian_Beckles. Follow me at Recher. Make sure you go check out the Dignitary Cafe. We are here, 4817 Southwest Shore Boulevard. A lot of great things going on. And, I'm back on vacation mode, man.
You stay on vacation mode.
That's how I roll. Some things never change. For Ian Beckles, I'm Jay Recher. We'll see you next time right here on the Beckles and Recher podcast. Peace out, mother suckers.
Deuces.
Thanks to Tom and Chris, our guys.
One love.
If you're looking for the pulse of Tampa Bay sports, Beckles and Recher is the #1 source. The new guard, raising up the bar. Intelligent sports talk in your own backyard. Ain't no competition, ask the fans why. Beckles and Recher got it by a landslide. Don't fret, microphone check, stand by. Yo, Fox, where they at? Who my two favorite guys?
Here they go.
Here they go.